Isaiah 19:2, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. All praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Habushah, Wahara Kakadash, the honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect that seeking to be the elect of the nation of Israel. They're scattered abroad amongst the heathen, some like the heathen. We get the 144,000. Preachers, teachers, and prophets. Shalom. Hey, real quick, a kingdom against kingdom. Hey, when kingdoms go against one another, it's leaders against leaders. Now check this out.
What's the secret to peak health?
Sorry about that commercial.
Get started at noom.com.
Another one.
Time it will.
All right, I'm going to play this one second. It says Iran issues assassination threat against Trump. Now I'm going to play that one second. Let's get this one right here.
He was hot on that about an hour and a half ago.
It says breaking U.S. withdrawing some military personnel from Midwest. I'm sorry, Mid-East. Breaking U.S. withdrawing some personnel from Mid-East bases. So when they start withdrawing some personnel, that mean, hey, they about to attack, man. America about to do something over there in Iran. All right? They about to do something over there in Iran. Now, America, man, they got the Middle East flooded with U.S. bases, man. Now, they're pulling some back. The U.S. personnel, man. All right, so they're about to do something crazy. Hey, let's hope and pray that, hey, this junk continue to escalate, man, so we get the hell up out of here. Because, you know, these prices, hey, this year, man, hey, this junk here moving fast, man. This year, hey, we just 14 days into the new year, according to the Gregorian calendar. Hey, whoo-wee.
He was hot on that about an hour and a half ago. Meanwhile, got some breaking news. You see this map on your screen? That is where the United States has military bases throughout the Middle East. Now, we can confirm that the U.S. is withdrawing some personnel from major bases across the Middle East due to heightened regional tensions. And you look at some of this in Qatar. That's the Al Udeid Air Base. You got about 8,000 to 10,000 U.S. service members. That's one of the larger bases. You got another Army base in Kuwait that's been operating for some time now, several years, if not decades. So how much of withdrawal, we do not know.
And why?
And why is the ultimate question,
Yeah,
as to whether or not we are in for some sort of military action, possibly in Iran. That's the speculation, all that unconfirmed. But you've heard the president. Anytime he's asked about this, he does not back away.
Yep.
He basically says you'll find out.
Yep.
He was hot on.
Hey, you heard it, man. You heard it. So, hey, hopefully, man, hey, they really get a pop. Now, check this one out. It says Iran issues assassination threat against Trump. I'm going to turn to the side.
We are following some breaking news out of Iran after Iran threatens President Trump. Take a look at this social media post right now, sharing more details of this threat. This is from the New York Post saying Iran issues a sickening assassination threat against Trump. Quote, this time it will not miss the target. And they also shared a photo of one of the assassination attempts against President Trump. All of this coming as protests continue to escalate in Iran.
So with that being said, what are they telling you? Attacks are about to hit America. Either on DJT's life or just on America, period. Alright? So, hey, prepare for tear attacks in these days. I'm not talking about them labeling something as a tear attack when they might shoot up a school. No, I'm talking about something big. So, hey, prepare for it, man, because, hey, these things are prophesied to happen, man. Remember, Babylon has never been touched. Did you get to Isaiah 47? It says Babylon says that she was going to be a lady forever. The lady of kingdoms. All right? That's what she think. But she going to get touched. As a matter of fact, we'll close out with that.
Are some file viral video of some of these protests in which reportedly hundreds, if not thousands, of people have been killed. Meantime, Iran's judiciary head has signaled earlier today there would be fast trials and executions ahead for suspects detained in these nationwide protests, despite warnings from President Trump that the U.S. may take military action over the killing of peaceful demonstrators. Those comments came as activists warn that hangings of those detained could come soon. The security force crackdown on the demonstrations has killed at least 2,500 people. That's according to the U.S.-based human rights activist news agency. The death toll exceeds that of any other round of protest or unrest in Iran in decades and recalls the chaos surrounding the country's 1979 Islamic Revolution. These demonstrations began on December 28th over the collapse of an Iranian currency as the country's economy is being squeezed by international sanctions levied in part over its nuclear program. This also comes as President Trump has consulted with his national security team about next steps with Iran as he looks to get a better understanding of the specific number of Iranian citizens who have been killed and arrested in more than 2 weeks of unrest throughout the country. So this is some video of just some of those protests that have continued to grow in Iran. President Trump said that he believes the killing is significant and that his administration would, quote, act accordingly. He also added that he believed the Iranian government was, quote, badly misbehaving. But the president said that he has yet to receive a confirmed number of Iranians killed in these protests that began late last month, saying that he has heard 5 different sets of numbers in that death toll. So the tensions continue to escalate, and these comments come after President Trump earlier said that he was cutting off the prospects of talks with Iranian officials amid a protest crackdown, telling Iranian citizens, quote, help is on the way. Now, he didn't offer any details about exactly what this help would entail, but his remarks come just 2 days after he said Iran wants to negotiate with Washington after his threat to strike the Islamic Republic. And now the rhetoric continues to ramp up after Iran issues an assassination threat against President Trump, saying, quote, this time it will not miss the target. We, of course, are continuing to follow all of the breaking news stories and also a programming note as you're taking a live look at the White House coming up at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So in just about half an hour or so, President Trump will be holding a signing ceremony at the White House. This is open to the media, and one has to imagine that many questions will be asked as Iran has ramped up that rhetoric with an assassination threat.
You hear that? I have to watch this. I'm not gonna play it now. I'm gonna watch it after.
If you or a loved
I got
one
another
become a victim of violent crime in North Carolina.
So, any questions on what we just?
All right. So you heard all of that. So let's hope this thing continues to escalate. Check this out. Saudi Arabia to U.S. Iran strike should be targeted rather than seeking regime change in 12. Let's read a little bit. The Jerusalem Post 8 hours ago. It says a Saudi royal source told N12 that Trump should pursue limited military strikes against Islamic regime leaders and officials to alleviate protest repression. Saudi Arabia is warning allies that an effective U.S. military attack on Iran would serve the Iranian regime and suppressing the protest activity seen nationwide and advising U.S. President Donald Trump to opt for limited, focused military strikes and other actions against Iranian suppression, a Saudi royal family source told N12 on Wednesday. An unmeasured move could achieve the opposite of any declared goal playing into the hands of the regime, the source warned. The regime wants symbolism to alleviate widespread anti-regime unrest, strengthening the narrative that the protests are supported by foreigners and that world powers are conspiring against Iranian sovereignty. He clarified. However, limited power strikes against senior figures are far more likely to be condoned by the Iranian people, in his view. It could be a rescue operation for them from repression, and they should not see it as negative foreign interference, but as positive foreign intervention that respects their independence, he declared. So, there you have it. I think that's it. Check this out, too. Two more. It says Trump issues National Guard warning. Donald Trump said National Guard personnel would be removed from Chicago, LA, and Portland after claiming that the deployments had greatly reduced crime. It says in a Truth Social post, Trump wrote that the cities would be gone if it weren't for the federal government stepping in, adding federal forces would return, perhaps in a such different and stronger form when crime begins to soar again. You see, when it begins to soar again. So all this, they're going to take them back. Let's say they do. Well, crime is going to soar again. Remember, the troops are being set out to all 50 states. So all this pulling back talk is just talk. That's a form of peace and safety, man. And then sudden destruction. So don't fall into it. All 50 states, they're going to have them troops out, man. All right? And he said it's going to be what? Adding federal forces will return. It says perhaps in a much different and stronger form when crime begins to soar again. So, in other words, they're telling you they're going to ramp it up and it's going to be worse than the first, man. All right? So just National Guard sitting around with now armed, it's going to be a light thing. It's going to be a real, they're going to get real down and dirty, man. All right? And what we see them doing, going around, snatching people out the cars, that's for ID, that's going to be light work. All right, compared to what they're about to start doing. They're about to start shooting people down in the streets, primarily Israelites. All right? Now, this is the last one right here. Young Americans are increasingly rejecting the Democratic and Republican parties, a new poll shows. Washington AP, Associated Press. Americans are increasingly rejecting the two major political parties, according to new polling. Just under half, 45% of U.S. adults now identify as independents. A new Gallup survey found that's a substantial shift from 20 years ago, when closer to 1/3 of Americans said they didn't identify with the Democrats or the Republicans. And that's a spirit, man, because that 1/3 represent the elected Israel that's not a part of none of this foolishness. All right, it says this group appears increasingly to be driven by the unhappiness with the party in power, according to Gallup's analysts. That's a dynamic that could be good for Democrats in this year's midterm elections, but doesn't promise lasting loyalty. Independents have gravitated toward the Democrats over the last year. When asked which party they lean toward, Gallup found both attitudes toward the party haven't gotten warmer. That suggests that the Democrats' gains are probably more related to independents' increasingly sour views of President Donald Trump. So that's the point. All right, so this place is just collapsing and falling, man. All right, so threats king against king, you know. And this prophesied to happen, as we just read in Isaiah 19:2, right before the return of our Lord Yahushua. All right, Isaiah 19:1, the burden of Egypt, which is America, is talking about America, which is spiritual Egypt, meaning bondage, land of oppression. It says, behold, the Lord Yahweh Shema shall ride upon a swift cloud and shall come into Egypt, right in America. And that swift cloud is the chariot, the fathership, great power and glory. And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. All right? Now, hey, remember Yahweh Shah said in that Luke 12:49 that hey, when he come, he didn't come to bring fire. He came to bring fire on earth, and what shall it be if it be already kindled? So hey, it's gonna be a hell of a lot of chaos going on at the return of our Lord Yahweh Shah. All right, but remember that mark of the beast got to come first. So hey, you see, we right here at the end, man. So hey, things are heating up. All right, it's heating up, and it's not gonna die down. Prophecy is going to continue to intensify until all prophecy is fulfilled, until the missiles are shot from the four corners of the earth, man. The nuclear missiles. All right. But remember, again, this digital system, this new world order, this mark of the beast has to be put in place and made mandatory first. All right. But let's close out Isaiah 47, going into how America is going to be attacked, man. All right. In all sorts of ways. Isaiah chapter 47 and 11. Let's start at 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge it has perverted thee, and thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. Yeah, you saying you God. You saying you the Most High. And you stand alone. Hey, that's also, you see why Trump in America is cutting everybody off, and they have no allies except the Israelis. All right? It says, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. That's all types of attacks. Okay, T attacks. And ultimately, it's talking about World War III missiles. Because remember that Golden Dome you're talking about, that defense system you're talking about is not going to be able to do anything against the nuclear missiles, man. All right, when you get that Joel 2. And mischief, meaning calamity, shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, right? You cannot avoid prophecy. You cannot stop it. And destruction shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. All right, so hey, stay prayed up in the names of Yahweh Shema Shai. Keep watching, keep praying, keep doing the work. Hey, master your lot, and endure to the end, trusting and believing, and calling upon the names of Yahweh Shema Shai. Shalom.